Welcome to In My Feelings, a safe space to talk all things NBA. I'm Big Waz. Let's go. All right, first up, let's get into Factor of Feelings. Of course, you guys by now have heard that JJ Redick and LeBron James have teamed up on a brand new player-focused podcast called Mind the Game. It's supposed to be a more headier, smarter, sometimes X and O's focused type of podcast, which brings us to our fact or feelings of the day. Have we reached a saturation point with player-driven media or quote-unquote new media, as my man Draymond Green likes to call it? I'm going to go ahead and say that's a feelings, y'all. If these guys are going to continue to say and do interesting things on their podcast, which I think guys like JJ have made plenty of news on his podcast, has gotten guys to share great stuff on his podcast, educational stuff on his podcast. I think Paul George does a great job with his podcast, unexpectedly, to be quite honest. I think Jeff Teague's podcast is probably the most candid of them all, where this guy like kind of throws vanity in the trash and like is very self-deprecating and is like great. Like I think some of these podcasts, like we could take it or leave it, but the bottom line is if these guys are going to say interesting things, then it's going to be worth our while. Another thing, which I've talked about up here before, because these guys are so freaking media trained to death, God knows that they're not going to give no interesting stuff to actual media like me and others, okay? And so if the vehicle that we get interesting facts and stories about players are on their own platforms, then so be it. They're just going to be providing more fodder for me and my big old yap to do content off of, right? We're just going to do content off the content. And again, if they're not going to sit down, do 3 hours or much less 3 days like LeBron used to do with guys like Lee Jenkins back in the days to give like this in-depth, introspective type of sit down. Shoot, if they're doing it themselves, so long as they're sharing and providing valuable insight, that they're telling dope stories, that they're engaging the fans on this, I don't think there is a saturation point, because again, back in the days, they would give this stuff to traditional media. They would give this stuff to a Sports Illustrated. They'd give that exclusive to ESPN, but now they're doing it themselves. And when they're doing it right, and some of them are, we have to admit that. I'm not up my own ass as a media member to say that, oh, these guys can't do what we do as great as we do. Some of them are putting out quality material all the time, and they deserve the credit for that, right? Some of them, like Draymond, as evidenced by this show, puts out quite ridiculous stuff, and it's funny, and we do stuff off of that. Right. And so I don't believe we've reached the saturation point. I think they should be putting out more. I think they should be more engaging to the public. That isn't the standard cookie cutter fare. Now, look, if LeBron's going to come up there and just do his typical politician LeBron, where he talks about his aspirations to buy a team and this and that and this and the third, I'm good off of it. But if he's going to say, yo, I'm anti 2-for-1, right? If he's going to give off takes like that, I'm here for it. I think he should have a place like that. And I have confidence in JJ that he can get good stuff out of it. And again, I know that a lot of people, and I think honestly, more than half of the athlete-driven stuff, I don't think is quite interesting or good. But when it is good, I think it's excellent. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with this show. And I'd welcome more guys to come out and put out their own content, own media. Again, so long as it's engaging and the fans can enjoy it. All right, guys, let's get into a vibe check. This week, we're locking in with none other than your NBA champion, Denver Nuggets. Going into the All-Star break, the Nuggets lost 3 straight games. They were looking pretty lethargic, sort of some like senioritis, championship hangover, not taking the regular season too seriously. But since they got that All-Star break rest, y'all, they're 12-2. Their only 2 losses in overtime to the Suns and at the buzzer on a damn near impossible shot from Kyrie Irving at Dallas this past Sunday. They've been rolling teams up. Quality, they've beaten the Lakers in this streak. The Kings, they got revenge on the Warriors. They beat up on Miami got beat up twice. I think that the Nuggets are peaking at the right time. They've turned the proverbial switch. I heard Ty Lue talking about, he was asked whether the Clippers could flip the switch.
I don't know. This is my first time having this team, but I've seen teams flip the switch before.
Newsflash, the Clippers are not a switch flip team. The Nuggets, however, man, they showed you in the playoffs when they rolled everybody up last Western Conference playoffs and in the finals, that this is a team that can get to a gear and a level that is quite ridiculous. Even in that loss to Dallas, man, they came back all the way back to take a lead after being down with about 8.5 minutes to go, down 13, come all the way back. And the way they did it was just so methodical. Their offense operates as a freaking machine, metronome-like, the way they just generate good look after good look after good look. That's why I think these guys continue to be my favorite to win the championship. Again, this year, you guys will remember, I picked them to win the championship last year when damn near nobody did. And so I am picking them again. I think they're peaking at the right moment. Obviously, Jokic, to me, he's the MVP. You can make a case for Shea and some, Luka. We talked about that before. But for me, for my money, it's Jokic. He continues to just dominate the floor. But it's not just that. There's the continuity that they have as a group, as a core group between MPJ and Jamal Murray and AG. But man, I'm really excited about what they're doing with their young developmental pieces. Right. Zeke Naji, he's not having the best season, but I think he's shown some signs. But where you really get excited, man, for what these guys can do in the future is Peyton Watson. I think he's got clear, all defensive team potential. Like, this guy is going to be a lockdown defender at the wing, the most premium position. He's making his threes this year. Every now and again, he's showing some on-ball juice. He's become a fantastic cutter around what Jokic is doing. I just like how the roster is rounding out into shape, going into the stretch run, man. Had to check in with the champs. I really think they're on their way to making themselves legend and winning a second championship in a row. I can't get out of here, guys, before I talk about essentially the dunk heard around the world. Man, I've been caping for John Collins for what feels like 5 years now. My guy John Collins just got baptized the other night in one of the best dunks that I've seen in a long, long time, man. This is evoking some of the best stuff from the Blake Griffin era, some of LeBron's best stuff, some of Vince's best stuff. Dare I say it, some of Mike's best in-game stuff. Just an incredible moment. And obviously, Ant Edwards is just an electric hooper. Everybody understands that. But for me, man, what takes him over the top is the personality, this guy's energy and his joy, his joie de vivre for the game, guys. It's just unmatched and adds a level of fun. That fun factor and that excitement factor to engage with what he's doing, man. Watching him watch his own dunk in playback, ridiculously entertaining.
Oh my God. Hey, that was my best dunk of my career, I'm not gonna lie. You got some good ones. I couldn't even react because I dislocated my finger. You see it? On your left hand, too. I couldn't react to it. I wish I could react.
Just how amazed he was by his own work. The genuine just joy there was incredible. He's leaving the court. He's signing autographs for fans. The kid asked him for his jersey, and his response is just priceless. Look, it'd be funnier if he was talking about John Collins. It turns out he was talking about Colin Sexton. But still, even though we thought it was a John Collins reference, like, that was funny, man. It's just awesome to have Anthony Edwards, man, around and just watch this guy on his journey and know that the league is in excellent hands, that this guy, he takes his stuff really seriously. He has a lot of fun. He's a team-oriented guy. Just really blessed as hoop fans and fanatics. Just had to shout out Ant Edwards real quick. So, guys, we don't usually cover photo ops on this show. I think the jersey swap is like a cool tradition that the NBA players participate in. It's generally just nice. This like innocuous thing where guys are like, yo, thanks for your jersey. I'll probably have it to put in my game room somewhere or whatever. However, man, Grady Dick, man, and Anthony Black, they had the jersey swap photo op for the ages, man. I don't need to describe anything. I don't need to say anything. You can just look at this photo op and realize these kids have an excellent sense of humor, and it is right up my alley. And I'm proud of this new generation of NBA players that they know not to take themselves too seriously and can, take some time to have a little fun. When this thing ran across my timeline a few nights ago, man, I'm not gonna lie, I howled and I sent it to every single person in my life who I knows cares about the NBA. So shout outs to these young brothers, man. Anthony Black and Grady Dick. You guys are champs for this one. All right, guys, that's our show for this week. Make sure you subscribe to the Ringer NBA's YouTube page. Make sure you hit that like button so that folks know you guys really enjoyed the video, and hit the notification bell so that you're reminded each and every Friday whenever In My Feelings drops. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.